We all love pumpkin bread, but I bet you've never had it like this. With white chocolate and bright, zesty cranberries, this is sure to be your new go-to recipe. I have all my ingredients prepped and ready. Let's get started. I'm going to be using the stand mixer to make this recipe. I'm going to be using unsalted butter in this recipe. I always use unsalted butter. That way I can control the amount of salt in the recipe. We're also going to be using two different types of sugar, light brown sugar and white sugar. Light brown sugar keeps this loaf nice and moist and also adds a little bit of a molasses flavor. We're going to let this cream for a couple of minutes. And now I'm going to add the baking soda. I like to add it at this stage while I'm creaming. That way I know that it's been well mixed into the batter. We're going to add some large eggs, one at a time, otherwise it would just puddle. And we're going to add some sour cream. Sour cream gives us a moist loaf, and then some canned pumpkin. We're also going to add some vanilla extract to this recipe. It adds a beautiful perfume on the back note after you've taken a bite. I've taken some cranberries and I've rehydrated them in some orange juice, but I want to pass them through a colander just to remove that extra moisture. Now that we've got the wet ingredients all mixed, we can start adding the dry ingredients. We're going to be adding some cinnamon and nutmeg as the spice. We're also going to add some white chocolate, which gives this a delightful richness, and those cranberries that have been rehydrated. We're going to be using all-purpose flour because that's the perfect protein for a pumpkin bread. And let this just cream for a minute or two. And you'll notice that this is quite a thick mixture. Using a spatula, just take the excess off the paddle, and it's always a good idea to use that spatula to give it a few swipes through to make sure none's stuck to the bottom. I've lined my loaf pan with some parchment paper. If you don't have parchment paper, feel free to just use some cooking spray just to make sure the loaf doesn't stick to the sides. Just spread this out nice and even. And I've preheated my oven. And it's always a good idea as well just to tap it down a few times to make sure there's no air bubbles. When it comes out, it will look beautiful. A telltale way to know that it's cooked in the center, it should be between 200 and 205 Fahrenheit. Just look at this pumpkin cranberry loaf. Absolutely delightful. I can't wait for you and your family to make this recipe. It really is quite possibly one of the best pumpkin loaves I've ever made and tasted in my life.